Hey, how much do your friends like you? It doesn't matter. His friends like them more. Meet Young Dolph, a rapper from Memphis who was tragically... So his friends found out who did it, then turned Memphis into the most violent city in America according to the FBI. Now, I know what you're thinking. Well, that sounds a tad excessive. Well, you ain't from Memphis. Because you see, Young Dolph was no ordinary rapper. He was so loved in his city, they called him the King of Memphis. Now, I want you to remember something. If a city calls a rapper king, they're a big deal. But you see, there was another rapper that didn't like that very much, and his name was Yo Gotti. And that is how our story begins. Because you see, Yo Gotti had a problem. He said, hey, yo, I'm the king of Memphis. Everybody said, no, you're not. He said, picked up the phone. He said, Dolph. Dolph said, yup. He said, everybody calling you the king of Memphis. I don't think I like that. Dolph says, okay. Yo, everybody, he hating. So Yo Gotti and Young Dolph start having problems. And when the head of a label has a problem with somebody, everybody in the label does too. That's why Pusha T and Drake were beefing, because Pusha T had a problem with Lil Wayne, the head of Drake's label. Well, the same thing happens here. One of Yo Gotti's artists, Black Youngsta, says, I don't like you, Young Dolph. Young Dolph says, well, what you finna do about it? Black Youngsta said, I'm not the same as Yo Gotti. I be crashing out. Oh, and Black Youngsta be crashing out. He starts popping up in videos with a very big saying, if anybody's seen Young Dolph, let me know. The Memphis police go, what'd he say? And at this point, start keeping a very close eye on the rappers, because I want you to remember something else. If you've heard of a rapper's name outside of their city, chances are inside of their city, they're very influential and they're a big deal. Young Dolph isn't worried about it, but just in case, he buys a $300,000 bulletproof Mercedes. And it pays off, because when he goes to do a show, the Mercedes gets lit up. The Memphis police immediately call him Black Youngsta and say, well, we know you did it. He goes, well, do you have any proof? The police go, no. Black Youngsta goes, no. You see, the problem with you police, his friend go, Black Youngsta. Black Youngsta go, the problem with you police, his friend go, Black Youngsta. He go, can't you see I'm talking to the police? What you want? He said, my fault, but Young Dolph is telling everybody he knows we did it. But see, Young Dolph did a little more than accuse Black Youngsta of in his car. Young Dolph basically calls them out during a performance, the same day his car got up, basically saying he not worried about them. But he decides to take it a step further and shows up to Yo Gotti's hotel. A scuffle ensues and Young Dolph ends up getting again. But he pops out saying, I'm good, everybody, and shoots a music video. And it's at this point, he's basically a Memphis legend. And well, he kind of was before this too, because you see, he gave back so much to the city that people loved him. In fact, he gave back so much to the city of Memphis that Memphis named November 17th Dolph Day. In fact, before he was giving back to a cancer center. 2 days later, he drives over to his favorite cookie spot. The owner say, hey, can you shout us out? He gets on Instagram, says how much he loves the cookies, and he goes there all the time. And there it was. Next time he goes, he was followed, and tragically, I know what you're thinking. Well, it must have been Yo Gotti or Black Youngsta, right? Well, the police thought the same thing. So they rush over to Yo Gotti's house to guard it, because they knew what was coming next. The chief of police makes an announcement saying, everyone stay in your home. The police start trying to solve the case as fast as possible, because they know they're running out of time. An Instagram comedian makes fun of Dolph. He gets down immediately. Police start getting more and more reports of being fired, so they double time it and they figure it out. They bring in 2 suspects and say, oh, that was close, but it only makes things worse. People they know start getting... The police were like, what do y'all want? Young Dolph's friends were like, to slide. This thing becomes so big it gets a name. Slide for Dolph. In the month following what happened to Young Dolph, 40 people were suspected to have been in retaliation, which pushes Memphis to the top of the list. Now, I should say that this list goes up and down all the time depending on what's going on in the city. Memphis is always usually up there, but never by that much. The police take it a step further. Listen closely. They find the man who hired those guys to Dolph. But the internet decides to dig a little deeper and figure out how he did it and find a picture of him with their boss. Boom, the boss is gone. They then find a picture of their boss with none other than Yo Gotti's brother. And Yo Gotti's brother is seen in his post making fun of Young Dolph. Yo Gotti's brother ends up... And there's a saying, the streets know everything. I don't know if that's a saying, I might have made that up, but a friend of Young Dolph came out saying he's pretty sure that Yo Gotti has nothing to do with it, and it was his brother. But that does not make it a true statement. And I personally do not know and did not step further into who might have done it, who didn't do it, because there's so many rumors, it's impossible to know what's fact. But at the end of the day, Memphis's rate went back down in 2023 and then went back up in 2024. So I don't know what to tell you. Because the fact that y'all are always ahead of Baltimore is a problem.